Welcome to High Integrity Dating. This is video number 2 in our 3-part series, Blueprints to Success. In this video, I'm going to talk about the internal shifts that I made in order to get good with women. In order to be confident with women, in order to feel solid in yourself as a dude, to know that you attract women. I constantly get asked these 3 questions. How long did it take for you to get confident from the time that you started? What was the biggest thing that had to change in order for you to start getting results? And how did you know officially that you were good with women? So I'm going to tackle all 3 of those questions in this video in hopes to give you an idea of how long this may take for you to actually get to a point where you're killing it with women. And by killing it, I mean you have the ability to walk outside, talk to a woman right away, spark interest, create attraction, get a phone number, set up a date, go on an Insta date, bring her back to your place. Secondly, what are some of the key shifts that need to take place within you internally in order for you to start to get the results? And lastly, how to know if you've officially gotten good with women. Anyways, let's jump right into it. So what shifts took place in order for me to get as comfortable with women as I am now? Now, there's a list of things, and you don't have to be 100% and master each of these areas. Even making small incremental shifts in each of these areas will get you results. Tangible results. Now, the first one, which was a huge one, was setting boundaries and learning to say no to women. For me, that was a hard thing. I was a nice guy. And in my mind, as a nice guy paradigm is that we want to get everybody to like us. So that means saying yes, even when we want to say no. I struggle with that big time. Actually, saying no to women felt like it was ripping off a damn arm. Because it felt like if I said no, then I would lose any attention or validation that I was getting from this particular woman. So that one was very difficult. But the minute I got over that one and started to set boundaries, the complete opposite of what I thought was going to happen actually happened. They started to come back towards me, start to text me more, start to call me more, start to want to hang out more. It was the strangest thing, but it's one thing that's never changed since I started doing it. So if you got something like that going on, learn how to say no, learn how to set boundaries. Trust me, you'll lose the women that are not for you anyway, and you'll gain the women who really do like you and want to be around you. Now, the second one was giving myself sexual permission to be sexual. See, I had this idea that women despise the sex, that if I was trying to have sex with a woman, then I was trying to take from her. I never realized that women are super kinky. They are super horny. And more so than guys are in most cases. And I didn't know that. So what I ended up doing was I ended up making my sexuality wrong. So when I would go on dates, it'd be very platonic. I was scared to touch. I was scared to bring up anything even remotely sexual, because in the past, when I did that, women would shut down on me, right? They get all weird and they close off. But the truth is, I wasn't actually owning my sexuality well back then. I was kind of being weird and kind of creepy about it. And so the delivery of things is what really made women clamor up and then want to end the date early. So if you're a guy who isn't giving yourself sexual permission, or you have sexual shame, or maybe you don't even know, but you just know that you're not sexually expressive and you're probably frightened by the idea of bringing up sexual things to women that you just meet, there's a good chance that you have sexual shame, and you might want to work to get that done. I definitely help with that. Brian also helps with that at Fearless. Get it taken care of, man, because when you start to open that door and go down that path of owning who you are sexually, you will start to have sex a lot more, and you will start to turn women on a lot more as a result. The third shift that took place was I stopped being nice with women and I started to be real with women. Even when it meant having tough conversations that I didn't want to have with women, I would just call that out. Like right off the bat, boom, I feel like my time's being wasted. I don't want to waste my time. A number of things start to happen. Either one, the girl will get lost, which for me works in my favor, or two, she'll tune up. She'll see the mistakes that she's making, and then she'll correct it, and then we end up having a better situation. And that happens actually more often than the first one does. So if you have issues with not only setting boundaries, but being clear and real with women and not saying things that you think that they want to hear, you're on your way to having success, because women don't want you to give them what you think they want to hear. They want to hear the raw truth, because the raw truth in a lot of cases can be a very fun thing. It can create emotion in a woman. It can create turn on. It can create a whole hell of a lot of attraction. Women love men who are real. Women don't like men who beat around the bush and who are being nice, because that's also very manipulative and boring. Number 5, I had to stop waiting around on women, and I had to start taking the lead. So if I was in a bar or a setting where there was a lot of women, instead of standing there in the corner with a drink in my hand, a water in my hand, something to not feel nervous, waiting for someone to come talk to me, waiting for some girl to come open me up, which has never happened, I stopped doing that. And I started walking in there right away, and I just started talking to women. Just start immediately talking to women, because I started to realize that waiting around does nothing for you, but it just stirs up and gives your anxiety a place to fester and grow like a bacteria, until it just completely consumes you and you leave the bar and you haven't talked to a single woman the whole night. I stopped doing that. I started going in there, I started taking the lead, and then I started to get the results that I wanted, because I started to realize that women are expecting men to show up and not the other way around. This is a constant thing I hear from clients. They're waiting around for women to show up and talk to them. It's not going to happen. And if it does, it's going to happen very rarely. And if you start to depend on that to happen, you're not going to get results. I can 100% guarantee that. Now, this is number 6, and this is probably the most powerful one of all, because it's kind of got an accumulation of all of these in it, really. And here's what it is. I learned that, 1, fear can be very arousing. Yes, fear can be very arousing. You ever seen a woman that was so beautiful that when you thought about going over there and talking with her, your body just completely froze up and was like, no? Well, I learned to enjoy that. I learned to enjoy that feeling, that buildup of tension in the body, the buildup of, no, you can't go do this. Don't do this. This is scary. You know, she's gonna blow you out the water. She's gonna reject you. I started to enjoy that, because what really actually ended up happening as a result of all these other things that shifted, I started to realize, 1, that I'm probably not going to get rejected. It's probably going to go well, and it's probably going to work to my advantage to do it. And so I would start having these memories of times that I've walked up to women, and I stood in the fear, I stood in the tension of it all, and it completely ended up working out way better than I expected it to. So I started to log in reference experiences of times that it went well. And those reference experiences start to really serve me. Whenever I see a hot woman and my body starts to get kind of, the tension in the body starts to build up, I've learned to associate that with fun and arousal. Because I know when I go over there, even if I'm a little bit nervous, or even if I'm a lot nervous, she's going to see it. She's going to know how real I'm being with her. And she's going to have a shift in the way she's being with me, because she can see how real I'm being. And I've seen it happen time after time after time after time. So learn how to enjoy fear. Learn how to enjoy creating tension. That's what it really is. Learning how to create tension is a big part of that. Learning how to say things that may be inappropriate. Learning how to say things that you feel like she may not respond well to, just for the sake of sparking some tension, because we don't want our interactions to go flat and be boring. That's the death of any attraction. Now, how long did it take for me to actually start feeling confident with women? Now, if you go back and watch part 1 of the series, I talk a lot about the journey from the first time I took the Fearless Workshop to having my first few dates. And even though I was having dates, there was still a lot of nice guy running, right? It wasn't perfected yet. I hadn't mastered it yet. I was still dropping the ball in some areas. Sometimes I was completely sabotaging dates, and sometimes the dates turned out really well. So I wasn't 100% confident yet. It was kind of like 50-50, right? I didn't know I was going to go. The moment I really realized that I'm getting really confident with women was when I started to notice that when I stop women, it went from maybe 15 to 20% of women stopping for me to 90 to 95% of women stopping for me. That's when I realized I was onto something. Because something's changing. I'm not getting rejected anymore, right? Or I'm not getting rejected upon approach. Like, sure, maybe we chat, they have a boyfriend, which I don't really consider a rejection anyway, but I never fully get rejected. That stopped happening. And another way that I knew this was that when I was on dates with girls, women would warm up to me like almost immediately, right? And if they didn't, they'd be very nervous. But I also noticed that the fact that I could see that they were nervous meant that I wasn't nervous. That means that I was grounded because I could see it. Because if I was nervous, there's no way I would have caught it, all right? I would have been in my head. I would have been worried about what's going on, how I'm feeling, how she perceiving me. Does she like me? Does she not like me? That wasn't happening anymore. I was like, man, I'm on dates with these hot girls, and these girls are nervous to be on a date with me. Like, I don't think that highly of myself. So it was a very interesting thing to start to see. And that's a really good indication if you're starting to kind of see these things in your dating life. Women are getting nervous around you, which even during approaches, women get very nervous around guys. Guys miss that during approaches a lot. But even just what percentage of women are stopping for you versus when you first started to learn how to go out and meet women. That's a real big indicator of when I started to realize that I was getting really confident with women. And that's when I really knew I felt confident. Now, how did I know that I was good with women officially? Now, this is kind of a different take on that same question, that last question. And there's a very defining moment. I remember this. There was a coach that we had with Fearless named Coach Matt. I know a lot of you guys who watch Fearless know who Matt is. Great approacher, probably one of the best I've seen. And me and Matt were hanging out one day. We were chatting. We were walking down to a pizza place. And there were two girls who were walking down the street. They were looking kind of classy, had these really nice overcoats on, just looked really sophisticated. And, we noticed them. We went to the pizza place. We started chatting for a second. And something just dawned on me. I said, hey, it's me and Matt. And then there's two very beautiful, classy girls who are standing at this crosswalk waiting across the street. And so I was like, I'm just going to talk to them. So I go out and I chat with them for a few seconds at the crosswalk. And I'm like, do you guys want to join us in some pizza? And they were like, yeah. So they came in. Matt had his girl. I had my girl. We're eating pizza. We're just having a great ass time. And in that moment, I realized, damn, I'm not scared. I'm not scared to be around women anymore. Actually, I'm actually enjoying being around women. It's actually fun. It's actually exciting. So the shift was I went from being terrified to women to being completely relaxed around them. And that was the one moment it all stood out to me, because even before that incident, it was already happening. But that one just really solidified it for me. So anyways, guys, just for the sake of the time in this video, I don't want to make it go too long. I just want to share those things with you guys. So if you guys are in a position, let's say you're starting to approach and let's say you're feeling like this is taking a very long period of time, maybe you do need a little bit of coaching to help you speed it up, or maybe you're in the sweet spot. A lot of times guys are in the sweet spot and they don't know that they're in the sweet spot, and they need maybe somebody to point out that they're in the sweet spot so that they don't give up and start to regress backwards. Trust me, guys, the more you go out and the more you practice being grounded, learning how to connect, learning to feel your body and get out of your head, and also the part about expressing your sexuality, owning your sexuality, you guys will start to have dates upon dates upon dates, and it won't stop if you continue to go out and practice it. And at some point, it does become second nature, and you don't have to even think about it anymore. Anyways, guys, love you. Stay tuned to part 3. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.